been spectacular. Had a playoff career high 36 points in game number 3. He was 12 of 14 from the free throw line. He's averaging 26 points and nearly 12.5 rebounds in this series. However, Hedo Turkoglu averaging just 11 points, and Rashard Lewis averaging 15 points a game in this series. Philadelphia 76ers, they're shooting 50% from the field against an Orlando Magic team that's excellent defensively, at least during the regular season.
No question. And for Orlando, it's an offensive problem. Their defensive numbers are almost the same. Philadelphia's scoring at 94. That's exactly what the Magic normally gives up. But Orlando's scoring 5 points less a game than they did in the regular season. They need to pick it up at the offensive end.
Underway here, Game 4 in Philadelphia. Dick Bavetta in his 34th year, officiating along with Sean Corbett in his 16th year, and Tony Brothers in his 15th season officiating in the NBA. Game 4 a year ago, Detroit took it. And Philadelphia eventually lost, looking to win in the first round for the first time since 2003. They look to take a commanding 3-1 lead, and Orlando wants to even this season series in the postseason. Courtney Lee shut down 6 points in game number 3, and around the rim, count it, says Dick Bavetta, goaltending on Samuel Dalembert.
Well, it's a tough matchup. That's a bigger guy, but down in here, real good help from the weak side. Dwight Howard, Rashard Lewis got posted up, stayed in the play, made it very difficult to finish underneath.
Dwight Howard, his one game that was down, PJ. They ended up winning game number 2.
Well, that's also the way it was in the regular season. The guys who put up the big numbers in the 3 wins for Orlando in the only 3 games they played Philadelphia were the wing players, not Dwight Howard.
Willie Green connects.
Willie Green struggled the first 2 games in Orlando, came alive, obviously likes playing here in the Wachovia.
Rafer Alston averaging 14 points. Here's Rashard Lewis. And a good job by Samuel Dalembert pushing out Dwight Howard from the post in deep post position.
That's critical when you defend Dwight Howard. If you let him catch the ball close to the basket, there's basically nothing you can do other than foul him. You need to do your work early, get him off the blocks.
9 ticks remaining on the shot clock. Here's Turkoglu. Thaddeus Young, just 20 years of age, on him, and a tough shot. Maybe that'll get Hedo Turkoglu rolling.
Well, good pressure by Thaddeus, better offense by Hedo Turkoglu.
Turkoglu shooting just 23% in the series. That's only his 8th made field goal. Running their half-court set, Andre Miller. And the shot doesn't go. Turkoglu quickly gets it out to Rafer Alston. Alston dribbles it off to the side. 2 minutes in here to game number 4 on the home court of Philadelphia. They are the 6th seed. Rafer Alston has it knocked away. Tony DeLeo said it's imperative that they stop his dribble penetration.
Well, that's one of Philly's strengths, creating turnovers and running. They weren't able to run that time, but they love the turnover.
Miller misfires an air ball. And the 76ers are 1 of 4 to start. And the Magic 2 of 2 here in the early going. Lewis on the drive, left hand, and it won't fall. Green. Shot doesn't go in on the weak side. Turkoglu. An excellent rebounder, sends it ahead to Courtney Lee on the crossover, and he's fouled by Andre Miller, the veteran. Picks up his first.
Hedo Turkoglu steps in. The clock's working against him. He knows he's got to make a quick move. Step back jumper, tough look. Very, very tough shot.
Turkoglu had 11 points in game 3. In game 2, the one game in which they did win, he had 16 points, but he picked those up from the free throw line where he was 9 of 11, just 3 of 10, PJ, from the floor.
Well, he's been all year, they call him Mr. Fourth Quarter. He's been big for the Magic in the fourth quarter, not in the playoffs. Dwight Howard, that's the opposite of what we talked about, Matt. You let him catch the ball in, there's nothing you can do. He's comfortable with either hand. That's just a little 1-2 bounce dribble and a 2-foot shot.
I mean, he's only shooting 77% from the field. I mean, come on, right?
Well, again, part of that is the way Philly's chosen to play him. Try and play him pretty much one-on-one and shut down the wings. So far, the strategy's worked.
How about Philadelphia, the worst three-point shooting team during the regular season, PJ? They are lighting it up from downtown in the first 3 games of this series, shooting 42%.
Complete role reversal. One team lives by the 3. The other team is executing better so far in the playoffs.
Extra pass, Courtney Lee, dribble drive, and a whistle and a foul. Tony Brothers blows the whistle. Tony DeLeo getting productivity from beyond the arc.
Well, you see the numbers there all year. 32%, number 30, last in the NBA for the 76ers. So far in the playoffs, 42%. That's 6th of the 16 playoff teams.
His 19th year in the Philadelphia 76er organization. He started internationally scouting for the Philadelphia 76ers when he was coaching in Germany. He spent 11 years coaching and playing in Germany. And he took over in mid-December for Mo Cheeks. And it provides him, as he said, a different perspective, an interesting perspective. Coming out of the front office now, he said we go from macro to micro.
That's the dilemma that coaches and general managers always have.
Big picture,
somebody's trying to win now. Somebody's trying to win eventually.
Well, they're trying to win right now. And they've developed their players along the way. Miller gives it up top. Andre Iguodala averaging better than 23 points in this series, trying to get Willie Green going, and a Willie Green shot doesn't fall. He's 2 of 4, has 5 points, all 5 for Philadelphia. On the inside, Dwight Howard. D'Alembert on him, loses it as he puts it to the deck. The run out by Thaddeus Young. Got the game winner in game 3, gets an early bucket here.
Dwight Howard has a flaw other than his free throw shooting. He's got a tendency to turn the ball over down on the box.
Lewis, high-low feed denied by D'Alembert. Off and running. What Philadelphia loves to do. Iguodala puts it on the deck in traffic and a foul.
That's Philadelphia 76er basketball. Create the turnover and generate the fast break. They really have not been able to do that very much in this series, but obviously it hasn't bothered them to this point.
Averaging 11 fast break points during this series, and during the year they were 3rd in the NBA at nearly 18 a game as Iguodala heads to the free throw line.
Well, Orlando's not a team that goes to the offensive boards. Dwight Howard's really the only one that goes to the offensive boards. So they've got 4 people back most of the time. You combine that with the fact they shoot so many threes. Their guys are standing on the perimeter. You shouldn't be able to run against Orlando unless Orlando turns it over. And to this point, they've done a good job taking care of the ball.
Andre Iguodala coming off of a playoff career best performance on Friday night in Game 3, had 29 points. Orlando with 3 turnovers already. Philadelphia hasn't turned it over. Got it at 8. Turkoglu feeds it to Howard. Double doesn't come. Howard. Nice move by Dwight Howard as he went to his left and then spun back and used his right hand off of the window.
Crowd crying for a travel violation. I think he kept his pivot foot still.
Courtney Lee dug in on Willie Green. Here's Thaddeus Young stretching it out. The jumper doesn't go, and Dwight Howard hands it off to Rafer Alston. Philadelphia just 3 of 9 in Orlando early on, 5 of 6 from the floor.
Andre Miller under the pick and roll, defying Rafer Alston to shoot the ball. Rafer Alston coming off a very good performance Game 3 on Friday night.
Had 17 points, but didn't score in the 4th quarter. The feed underneath to D'Alembert, knocked away. Loose ball corralled. Lee. Numbers for the Magic. Turkoglu to the hole.
Called it perfectly. They had numbers and they pushed it again. What Stan Van Gundy's talking about. They need to run a little more. They need more early offense.
And a timeout taken by Philadelphia. 6-0 run by Orlando.
But not taking possessions off, but the guys they better get the ball to. We talked about both Andres. Iguodala's yet to attempt a field goal. Andre Miller's only got 2. Willie Green and Thaddeus Young have 7 field goal attempts between them. I got to think Tony DeLeo's also suggesting they get the Andres some shots.
Pivotal game 4 for Orlando, the 3rd seed, and they lead by 6. Philadelphia leads the series 2-1 and down 6, kicked out of bounds 14 seconds on the shot clock.
Good looks, no problem with the shots they're taking so far, but you got to go to your money guys, and that's clearly been Miller and Iguodala.
They've combined in this series for 46. Thaddeus Young shot doesn't go. His own rebound put back, denied by Dwight Howard. Recycled shot clock.
The big guy. You got one good look. You're not going to get a second good look with Dwight Howard in there.
Not the defensive player of the year in the NBA. There's a good look underneath. Andre Iguodala.
From Andre Miller. Cross screen, found him underneath the basket.
Iguodala's first shot attempt. First made field goal. Has been lights out. Backing down. Lewis in the post. Dalembert with the denial. Iguodala running the floor, attacking Turkoglu with the left hand. 4 straight points from Andre Iguodala.
Fast break keyed by good help by Samuel Dalembert from the weak side.
Out of the timeout, Philadelphia has cut it to 2. Austin looks on the inside. His pass deflected by Iguodala, intended for Turkoglu. Over and back. And Philadelphia's defense tightening up, PJ.
Well, right here, a little bit of a slow move by Rashard Lewis. Erased by Samuel Dalembert. Open floor, Andre Iguodala, as good as there is in the league with the finish. Stan Van Gundy's upset. He said the ball was deflected, but I think it was only touched by Orlando players. The Philly player knocked it in the backcourt. The call was wrong. That appeared to be 2 Orlando players involved in the touch.
Magic already with 4 turnovers. Iguodala, guarded by Turkoglu, fires over him, and the jumper doesn't go, and Dwight Howard gets his second rebound. Iguodala on Austin. Mismatch. Turkoglu has Green on him. The double comes. Courtney Lee and the 5th turnover.
Courtney Lee's upset, and I think he's got a gripe. Andre Miller knocked it loose. Looked like a discontinued dribble. It was called a double dribble on Courtney Lee. One more pass. Mentioned the double team on the left side. One more pass would have been an open shot.
Green looks on the inside. Miller to the cutting Dalembert. Dalembert showing his touch. Averaging just 4 points, 5 rebounds in this series. Had 4 points in game 3. Austin the 3. And their 3-point shooting is dramatically down.
Well, they've been struggling. It's the quality of the shots. Kenny Smith talked about it in the pregame. They're doing a good job limiting, not just the way they're defending the threes, but they're limiting the threes.
Willie Green living on the 3.
Well, it's been all Philadelphia since the timeout.
9-0 run by Philadelphia.
Andre Miller is quiet, but look at his numbers. He's just stepped it up. He's been there before across the board, not just the scoring. The scoring's obvious. Almost 3 more rebounds a game, and he's one of the better rebounding guards in the league. Assists down a little bit, but it has to be when you're scoring that much. He's still doing a good job distributing the ball, particularly to his partner. He's the one that interior pass got Andre Iguodala going.
9-0 run in less than a minute. 54 seconds to be exact. And Miller has been spectacular in the first 3 games of this series. Soft-spoken Andre Miller. Michael Petras checking in. The bench of Orlando has not produced in this series. Courtney Lee, jumper over Iguodala, makes it with a 1 tick remaining on the shot clock.
Tough possession. You heard Andre Miller talking about physical defense. They're climbing all over Rashard Lewis. He was lucky to get the ball out of the double team. Courtney Lee, with, as you said, 1 second on the clock, knocks down the jumper.
In game 2, had a playoff career high of 24 points. This is his first playoff series ever. Leading scorer all time in Western Kentucky. Former Hilltopper. Iguodala stretching it out for 3, and it rattles in and out. Offensive rebound. Thaddeus Young, no. And Dwight Howard corrals it. Philadelphia by 1.
It's 3 offensive rebounds already for Philadelphia. That's something they've done well all year, but not so far in the series.
And Tony DeLeo saying that he wanted to get more offensive possessions, and he put that on Thaddeus Young to get 2 or 3 more as Michael Petrus knocks down the jumper.
Thaddeus Young heard what the coach was asking for. So far, he's given him. We talked about that bench for Orlando is critical.
D'Alembert in the high post. Jumper. Tough shot over Dwight Howard.
Yeah, sometimes when Samuel made his first shot, that's not necessarily good news because he's going to look to take another one.
Philadelphia shooting just 7 of 19. The Magic are 8 of 11. Now 8 of 12. Howard's shot doesn't go. Miller cut off by Petrus. Spin move. Maintains. Kick out. Iguodala. And 10 of the shot clock. Willie Green off the bounce. Kick out. Extra pass. Shot clock down to 3. Tough shot. Fading along the end line. Andre Miller bucket.
Very solid defensive possession for Orlando, but Philadelphia stayed patient. Good individual move at the end.
Alston, and he's fouled by Samuel D'Alembert.
Moving the ball pretty good. There's penetration and help. Forces you to rotate one more than you want. Again, the help was there. Shot could have been contested a little bit better, but the patience of Philadelphia was what made that play.
Miller, that's his first made field goal as Rafer Alston heads to the line. He's 7 of 12 in this series now from the free throw line. He was a 70% shooter during the regular season for Orlando in 29 games, and Samuel D'Alembert checks out. And the veteran Theo Ratliff, who's been a difference maker in this series, along with Donyell Marshall. Nice vets to have there at the end of the bench. Save them up for this time of the year.
The graybeards, they're not as old as I am, but Tony's using them very well in the playoffs. Again, you save them. They don't play a lot during the regular season, but you know what you're going to get from them come playoff time.
Tied at 19. Miller on the post up. Double comes. Kick out. Thaddeus Young from downtown.
It is Orlando that shoots a lot of threes and shoots a really good percentage, correct?
That's what they say. Third most in NBA history in makes during the regular season at 817. Asking for it, PJ. There it is from Rashard Lewis.
As advertised.
Made 817.
Well, if you take away New York, who broke all the records this year, Mike D'Antoni's group, this would be the second most made in the history of the NBA.
Stripped away by Lee as Ratliff went up.
Good help by the rookie, a very impressive defender.
Howard. A strong move.
Strong move, and the refs let him play. I like it. He turned into Theo Ratliff. A little bit of contact. Those two can handle it. Let him play.
6 points and 3 of 4 shooting for Dwight Howard. 4-second differential game clock, shot clock. Green up top. 5. And a foul. Listen to this.
You don't need the microphone to hear that.
That's right into your chest.
That's why Dwight wears the flak jacket underneath. His body alone could punish you. Now you put the flak jacket on top of that. He's going to beat up who's ever guarding him.
Dwight Howard, the Defensive Player of the Year, youngest member of the Orlando Magic, 23 years of age. Off the inbounds, knocked out of bounds. Courtney Lee, good job defending that. And 8.6 tenths of a second now remaining here in this opening quarter.
It's the problem sometimes when you have a foul to give and you use it, it takes away your last shot. You said there was about a 4-second differential. They take the foul. Now that enables Philadelphia to get the last shot of the half of the quarter.
Orlando by 2. Marshall, short. And the first quarter comes to a close And the Orlando Magic lead Game 4. Had a break to start the second quarter, and Turkoglu 3-3 here.
They're off to a good start. He's getting those guys looks. What they're not doing is taking care of the ball. 5 turnovers. Fortunately, it's only led to 5 points so far for Philadelphia. They got to take better care of the ball, the Magic.
Lou Williams on the floor for Tony DeLeo. Here's Thaddeus Young. Another 3 with the shot clock down. Thaddeus Young delivers his second 3 of the game.
We're starting the second quarter, and Philadelphia's 4 for 6 from the three-point line. Orlando's 1 for 3. Go figure.
Anthony Johnson, the veteran out of the College of Charleston, looks on the inside from the wing. Petrus sends it in to Dwight Howard. Goes in strong and a foul. And foul's going to be charged to Theo Ratliff. And Ratliff is just taking a beating down there with Dwight Howard.
He's kind of laughing, looking over at Dick Bavetta. Dwight Howard leads with the shoulder, makes the contact. That usually backs the defender up about 6 feet, and then he finishes the play.
Can't ask for anything more from Dwight Howard in this series.
On the middle, he owns the middles. He owns the middle at both baskets, offensively and defensively.
And how about this? 72% from the free throw line. He's now 25 of 34 in this series.
Well, this series is au contraire.
Yeah.
You can't figure it. Everything's going against form.
The numbers, forget about it. Orlando by 2. Orlando swept the season series 3 games to none. But yet, coming in, Philadelphia felt very comfortable and confident against the 3rd seed Orlando Magic.
And then backed it up to this point.
Willie Green with Lee on him. Here's Young. Step back. Big shimmy Green. Shot no. As Lee picks himself up off of the floor. Tony Brothers with a whistle. And a foul's going to be charged to Theo Ratliff.
Dwight Howard was ahead of him, was going to go in for a dunk, and Anthony Johnson was just waiting for him to break away. The reason he couldn't break away, Theo Ratliff was grabbing him.
That's his second. And one of the things Philadelphia, they have guys at that big position that can give Dwight Howard fouls.
Well, they've got the 2 legitimate centers. They've also got Reggie Evans, who's not center tall, but he's center tough. And you've also got the rookie, Maurice Spates, they can throw in there. So they've got some bodies.
Howard on the inside, power move and a foul on D'Alembert.
That's called, he's got me beat. Let's force him to make some free throws. Very strong move inside by Dwight Howard. Turn, face, quick move, step through. You know, people saying that early on, Dwight Howard doesn't have a lot of inside game. He just overpowers people. He's gotten much better. You got to give a lot of that credit to Patrick Ewing. But Stan Van Gundy was saying Patrick's done a very, very good job. Obviously, Dwight working with him. But it even started earlier with Clifford Ray and with Mark Bryant. So you've had coaches working with Dwight Howard since he came to Orlando at a very young age. And his inside game, his footwork is dramatically improved. There's the big guy.
The Hall of Famer Patrick Ewing. And talking to Patrick, he's leaned on Dwight Howard saying, listen, you got to get that ring. Got to get that ring. Well, his shot at a ring, and it didn't happen.
He also spent about 20 minutes post-practice yesterday at Philadelphia Community College with Dwight right here on the free throw line, Patrick, just feeding him the ball. It's about as expensive a caddy as you could get. That big guy right there, number 33.
Dominant. Patrick Ewing. Howard shot no. Reggie Evans checks in for Samuel D'Alembert, picked up 2. See Jameer Nelson, the Philadelphia native, cheering on his Magic.
You got to come up with that rebound. When you have a shooter who's not a good free throw shooter, you've got to come up with it. Almost Boston, it almost cost Chicago the game this afternoon. Rajon Rondo came up with the big missed free throw rebound.
How about that series?
Unbelievable games. You got to give the young Bulls credit.
Yep. Turkoglu. Jumper. No.
Bad decision. He had to shoot the ball. He was wide open. Shoot it.
And you can tell he's struggling. When you turn the corner like that, go up like that, and then don't take that shot, Lou Williams taking it and making it. Another three-pointer. 5 of 7 from beyond the arc.
Philadelphia staying in the game on their three-point shooting.
6 ties. Turkoglu gives it up. Petrus from the corner, no. Here's Lou Williams forcing the tempo. And Johnson getting back.
Orlando, good job in transition.
Such a key against Philadelphia. Transition D as Howard comes down with it and sends it quickly to Anthony Johnson. Johnson jumper over Lou Williams. Shot no, and Royale Ivey, who is on the floor, sends it over to Willie Green. Green using the Evans screen. Now Evans rolls. No call. Evans gets it back. Batted away.
Reggie staring over at the official. He should look at his hands. Didn't have control of the ball. Royale Ivey with a good steal from behind on Turkoglu.
Turkoglu turns it over. 7 turnovers by Orlando. And a foul. You know, he wanted to continue to play. He wanted to rehab it without getting surgery, so he went to 8 different doctors. And Dr. James Andrews, Reggie Evans lays it up and in. The infamous Dr. James Andrews performed the surgery in Birmingham, Alabama. And he's an all-star. Jameer Nelson went to St. Joe's, Chester, Pennsylvania, about 10 minutes from here, and he is one tough customer. Played for Phil Martelli at St. Joe's in the backcourt with Delonte West.
Pretty good backcourt.
Oh, yeah. They went to the Elite 8. Andre Iguodala out and running. Marcin Gortat on the floor along with J.J. Redick. We'll use J.J. Redick. Ivey open. And it's going to be Orlando basketball.
You know, Turkoglu taking the ball to the basket. You want to get going. One of the ways is to try and get to the foul line, but you got to make a stronger shot than that. The help coming from the weak side by Reggie Evans prevented him from, you know, finishing on the right side. That made it into a weak shot. Now, you look at the stat sheet, Matt. Orlando's shooting 61%, but they've only got 19 field goal attempts to 27 field goal attempts for the Sixers. That's because Orlando's turning the ball over and giving up offensive rebounds.
Here in 3 minutes without a bucket. Redick has an open look. It's a 3. Shot doesn't go.
Not really in rhythm. He made that pass fake to create an opening and his feet weren't set.
Miller along with Young, Iguodala, Evans, and Lou Williams on the floor for Philadelphia. Iguodala jumper over Turkoglu. It's been a tough guard for Turkoglu in this series.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, that's good pressure. Iguodala shoots better when he's pressured. I swear, when he's open. A lot of guys are like that. They're too open. You pressure him, he's going to knock it down.
J.J. Redick can't knock it down. 7-0 run by Philly. Out and running. Getting back Lewis with the block. Here's Redick. Crossover, the drive. Got it to go with the left hand, J.J. Redick.
Good job by Redick. The outside shot's not going. Take it to the rim.
Philadelphia up by 2. Lou Williams pops out. Falling in love with the 3, maybe?
It's hard not to, the way they're shooting it. Orlando on the other end is taking the ball to the basket, and that's a lot better.
Turkoglu now 4 or 5 on the drive. That's 8 points.
Excuse me, Matt. Very small team on the floor for Philadelphia right now. Orlando recognizing that and attacking the basket.
Iguodala run off by Gortat. Open look Miller. Johnson comes out to close. Miller jump. No. Evans and Gortat. Jump ball.
Going for the rebound. That's really good rebound and getting after it. Ball up. You got 2 guys going for it. Strong. Good call. Rugby scrum.
Reggie Evans, a tough-minded forward, undrafted out of Iowa, was with Seattle Denver, now Philadelphia, 28 years of age in his 7th year in the NBA, and Donyell Marshall in. He can stretch out the floor. And Andre Iguodala out, 7 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists.
Iguodala number 2 in playoffs in minutes of 44 a game. Played big minutes, was number 2 in the league in the regular season, but then stretched it out even more. Both he and Andre Miller played huge minutes for the Sixers.
Driving, Turkoglu, and the shot goes. Second of drives now for Turkoglu when he handles the ball.
Got to think that adjustment came from the bench. If not, that's great recognition by the Orlando players. They are attacking the rim.
Williams attacking, Gortat with a block. Loose ball on the floor. Lewis can't corral it. Redick does. Lewis triggers it. Veteran can't get it to go. Miller the other way.
Andre Miller never hesitated. Anthony Johnson's got to stop the ball. First rule of a fast break.
Anthony Johnson, the leaner off of the glass. Tied once again. Marshall. Lewis jumps at him. Puts it on the deck. Drives. Offensive foul.
Marcin Gortat with a couple of good defensive plays for the Orlando Magic. Dan Van Gundy, I'm sure, talking about the transition defense last time. He's really unhappy. Andre Miller able to go coast to coast, but for the most part, his defense has been good. They have the Sixers at only 40% from the field. What's killing him is 5 for 9 from the three-point line, coupled with they've given up 4 offensive rebounds, and they're not taking care of the ball. 7 turnovers for 10 points already. For the Magic, they're averaging less than 13 turnover a game in this series. They've got 7. We're just past the halfway mark of the second quarter. That's going to bite you eventually. They've actually been fortunate, only giving up 10 points off the turnover.
Foul on Donyell Marshall. J.J. Redick to inbound the ball with Alston, Turkoglu, Howard, and Lewis on the floor for Stan Van Gundy. Miller, Thaddeus Young, Evans, Donyell Marshall, Lou Williams on the floor for Tony DeLeo. Shot clock down to 7. Here's Turkoglu. Turkoglu with 10. Sends it out. Alston the 3. Now just 1 of 7 from the three-point line. Thaddeus Young running. Sends it out in the wing. It's a 2. Shot doesn't go. Thaddeus on the offensive glass.
Well, he created a little bit of room with his right arm, finished with his left arm. But again, that's 5 offensive rebounds for Philadelphia. They're number 2 in the NBA in offensive boards.
Turnover, running. And Sean Corbin blows the whistle prior to that in a foul on the floor. Thaddeus Young with 10 points on 4 of 9 shooting and 3 offensive rebounds.
Donyell Marshall with the great look. It doesn't go. But Thaddeus Young clears him out with the right, finishes with the left. Tony DeLeo told us before the game we need Thaddeus Young to give us more on the offensive boards. He's doing just that.
Tony DeLeo had a good conversation with Thaddeus Young about that. He got that point across.
But 3 already, 3 offensive boards already.
That was on Turkoglu, his second.
Now you have Orlando hesitating on three-point shots a little bit. Both Redick and Rafer Alston, if they're going good, they would have shot that.
Double comes to Howard, the kick out. 1 of 8 from downtown. A team that during the regular season made 10 a game and took 26.2 a game.
Well, I can hear our cohort in the studio saying you die by the three-point shot, but Orlando has lived by it. They're not making it, and they're not getting enough of them. Kenny Smith made the point. They're taking them off the line tonight. They're getting pretty good looks. They're just not making them.
Not making them. Meanwhile, they trail by only 2 because Philadelphia is shooting 39.5% from the field.
Well, the Orlando defense has been good, and they've put a lot of pressure on their defense with all the turnovers. What's really hurt them has been the offensive boards.
And a turnover by Thaddeus Young into Philadelphia. That's their 5th.
Got to think Orlando's going to go underneath to Dwight Howard right now. Reggie Evans is tough, but he's very undersized. This is not a big Philadelphia team on the floor.
Asking for it. Underneath, there's Howard. Just as you predicted.
Well, good recognition there by Orlando. That's obvious. They got to go to him right now.
Ties it up at 36. Howard with 10 points and 6 rebounds here in the first half. And his first field goal made here in the second quarter.
Well, cardinal rule, no question about that, particularly against these guys who are struggling so much right now. In transition is where Rashard Lewis or Hedo Turkoglu can get some open threes. Philadelphia's taking that away from him. They want him to play in the half court, even if it means having to deal with Dwight Howard.
Andre Iguodala. And a turnover, and that is a 6 by Philadelphia.
Very well defended. Orlando's done a great job. You know, Philadelphia's 5 for 9 from the three-point line. That's 56%. They're only 10 for 29. 35% on two-pointers. That's a tribute to the Orlando defense, but they got to shore up their defensive rebound.
Lewis just 1 of 4, gives it up. Turkoglu has it knocked away. 9 turnovers now for Orlando here in this first half. Miller working with Evans, cut off by the presence of Howard. And they slow it up into the half court. Miller. Shot clock at 5. Sag off him, takes a jumper, no. Loose ball on the floor, kicked out. Lou Williams scoops it up.
This is the perfect example of the problem, Matt. Extra possessions. First they turn the ball over, now they give up an offensive rebound. This is going to kill you if they continue to do it. Too much pressure on your defense.
Second in the NBA during the regular season in offensive rebounds. +6 here. Orlando doesn't even have 1. Lewis comes down with it.
Orlando dodges another bullet with good half-court defense.
Lewis on the inside, deep post position. Evans gets charged with the foul. And let's go down to Atlanta, Georgia, and Ernie Johnson. EJ?
Dwight Howard will go to the line to shoot 2.
We look forward to that. How about Rose with 20, Ben Gordon 22, Rajon Rondo at 25. What a game today in Chicago.
Well, I'll tell you what people are going to be working on in that series is three-point defense. We're talking about the international teams foul. You're down 3. You're up 3 late in the game. You're not going to let the opponent shoot. We saw today what happens when you let Ray Allen, forget about it. Ray Allen got a great look to send it into the first overtime, but again, you still have to make the shot. You have a lot of people stepping up and making big shots, and there's been 2 classic games in that series already.
Dwight Howard just 2 of 6 from the free throw line. Miller turns the corner sharply, sends it to Evans. Iguodala, pullback jumper over Petrus, doesn't get the shot to fall. And Lewis sends it now to Alston. Trying to ride Howard. Double came momentarily, makes a move, no call with the left. And loose ball foul. Howard picks up his first.
They're banging. I kind of like the no call. That's a pretty good hit. Reggie tried to sell it. Dick Pavetta wasn't buying it, but eventually they got Dwight coming over the top.
Magic have been stagnant offensively. Philadelphia just 36% from the field as well. The Magic shooting 50% from the field. Turned it over 9 times. Evans underneath, knocked out of bounds. Reggie Evans furious at both ends of the court now.
Well, he's upset, but again, if you're going to let him bang at one end, you're going to let him bang at the other. Unfortunately, Dwight is so big and strong. When he bangs, there's more of an impact.
Two teams have combined for just 26 points here in this quarter. Howard comes away with a rebound. Philadelphia has 14, Orlando with just a dozen.
Well, that's not the guy you want with the ball when the 24-second clock runs out. Reggie Evans with no choice but to launch the jumper. Orlando can take it almost to the nub, about a little less than a 2-second difference.
Shot clock at 5. Austin makes a move on the drive. Pops out. Howard can't control. And it's going to be Philadelphia basketball. And a timeout taken by Philadelphia with 2.2 tenths of a second remaining here in this first half. Tied at 36. As the 2009 NBA playoffs continue, you'll be able to see all the action on TNT and beyond on NBA TV. Denver at New Orleans, Game 4. And New Orleans down 2-1. ESPN Friday. Playoff coverage continues. Game 6s if necessary. And on ABC, Sunday playoff coverage continues. A doubleheader, 1 o'clock and 3:30 Eastern. In the East, Cleveland with the sweep over Detroit. That ends a remarkable run by the Pistons. 6 consecutive Eastern Conference finals.
Yeah, it really does. And that does need to be noted. That's an incredible achievement for the Detroit Pistons. Maybe time for them to regroup right now, though.
Miami leads 2-1. And Boston and Chicago tied at 2. In the last 5 minutes, the two teams have combined for just 2 made field goals in 5 turnovers.
Call that a defensive series or offense.
Iguodala. And the half comes to a close in Orlando and Philadelphia here in this Game 4, PJ, tied at 36. Stan Van Gundy and the Orlando Magic looking to even this series at 2 games apiece. Only 8 teams have ever come back to win a 7-game series after trailing 3-1.
Well, but I'll tell you, Stan should be upset about the rebounding. He should be upset about the turnovers. But again, they're tied. Got a chance to win it. Charles made a great point at halftime. They've got to push the ball, not necessarily to get more three-point shots, but to get Dwight Howard more looks in the lane. He's got 7 field goal attempts. He's also been to the free throw line for 6 free throws. But again, I think both coaches would like to see quicker tempo.
After a loss in the regular season, the Magic 20-4. They did respond. And after losing Game 1, they responded with winning Game 2. This is Game 4, down 2-1, tied at 36. Austin drives. And Samuel Dallenberg got a piece of it.
Got more than a piece of it. It was inside the cylinder. Easy call for Sean Corbin on the perimeter.
Yeah, Dallenberg's had a couple of goaltending. And Orlando up by 2 to begin this third quarter.
And you look at, they're sitting on 36 at the half. This will be the 11th straight game if it plays out where Orlando has not gotten to 100. It's a team that averages 101 points. It's number 10 in the NBA in scoring.
In the corner, Willie Green, the 3, good. 6 of 11 from beyond the arc. Willie Green, his 3rd three-pointer.
Thaddeus Young does a good job there taking Rashard Lewis off the three-point line. Kenny Smith talked about that.
Double comes to Lewis. The 3 is good for Rafer Alston, their second made 3 of the game.
Good ball movement, good spacing, more importantly, good patience by the Orlando Magic.
Iguodala sends it in the post. Dallenberg guarded by Dwight Howard. Spin toward the end line with the hook.
Good move by Sam. The key there, going to the basket, not away, settling for the jump shot.
Clear out for Rashard Lewis, and Lewis trying to get on track. His second field goal of the game has 5 points.
Using his height advantage over Willie Green.
Excellent in the post, although 50% of his shots during the regular season came from beyond the arc.
The most threes in the NBA and made the most threes in the NBA.
They attempted better than 7 a game and making a little bit over 2 a game. Alston. Here's Lewis. Iguodala jamming Turkoglu. Shot clock at 7, and he traveled prior to that. Hedo Turkoglu is just struggling in this series.
Well, he's struggling, but I like the way he's playing today. But again, talking about the point Kenny Smith made, they're running guys off the line. They're not letting them get their feet set and shoot those comfortable three-point shots. Hedo's got 10 points. He's 5 for 6. That's all right, but he's got to play with a little more confidence.
And he's got 4 turnovers. Thaddeus Young. Jumper not there as Alston looks ahead. Pushing it, finds Courtney Lee, who spots up, and Lee delivers.
There's pushing the ball. There's an open 3 with your feet set.
He's 3 of 3 with 9 points as Courtney Lee. Orlando starts 4 of 4 in the quarter, and after shooting just 31% in the second.
Here's what we're talking about. Again, the shooters out there, you see as they move the ball up the court. Coming down. Kick it right there. Richard's into him. Same thing. Thaddeus Young takes him off the line. They're not allowing the 3. The subsequent play, Courtney Lee did have his feet set.
Alston picked up a foul. Now Dwight Howard picks one up. That's his second. And Orlando with a 5-point advantage. Magic, their largest lead, 6. Philadelphia, 4. Miller over Alston has been quiet here in game 4.
He's upset. He thought there was contact by Rafer Alston that caused him to miss the shot.
2 of 7 is Andre Miller. Alston turns the corner. Drives, finds Dwight Howard.
Excellent late look by Rafer Alston. He was actually behind the backboard. He kept waiting. Finally, the help came. He put the ball in Dwight Howard's hands.
As soon as Dallenberg cut over, that was the key for Howard. 7-0 run now by the Magic. Willie Green. Shot in and out. Howard comes down with a rebound. That's his 9th. Has 12 points and 9 rebounds. Largest advantage for Orlando on a 10-2 run. Over the last 3 minutes. Turkoglu. Lewis. Lewis is going to crank it up and drains it. 13-2 run now for Orlando, and Tony DeLeo wants a timeout.
Charles wants a little more running from Orlando. Charles is going to get a little more running. Key to the play right there. Thaddeus Young falls down on the floor. That's a problem, obviously. Now they've got numbers. They throw it ahead. Courtney Lee's got his feet set, and that's a dilemma for Willie Green. If he's going to come out, there's nobody left to cover Rashard Lewis. So it's good offense. They're running the floor. They caught a break, but there's feet set and an open 3. That's the way Orlando makes their living.
And Rashard Lewis with 8 points, and Orlando 6 of 6. By the way, excellent use of the telestrator. The Czar would be very jealous.
I don't think he's going to be threatened, though.
Willie Green dumps it to Andre Iguodala. And a defensive 3-second violation. Coming up following our game here on TNT, Aaron Brooks and Houston play host to Brandon Roy and the Portland Trail Blazers. Rockets lead that series 2-1. Kevin Harlan, Doug Collins, Craig Sager will bring you the action from Houston. And what a series. I think everybody expected that one to be as tough as it has been. And big game 2 for Brandon Roy with 42 points. And Houston getting game 3. 51-42.
We can get a cheesesteak and go back to the hotel and watch that one.
You got it. Geno's or Pats. Take either one. Shot clock at 7-6. Now down to 5. Up fake. Kick out. Thaddeus Young. Shot clock violation. Great hustling D by Orlando.
Good defense by Orlando. Poor clock recognition by Philadelphia.
Erasing deficits. Philadelphia has done it in this series. Remember, game 1 down 18. There's been massive deficits in each.
Yeah, they've been down 18 twice, and then Orlando was down 17 on Friday night.
Before they tied it up. Rashard Lewis in rhythm.
Philadelphia going through a very tough patch right now. They're not defending well. They're not doing a good job executing on offense. They got to dig their heels in. They do not want to have to come back from 18 again.
In game 4, here in the third, Orlando 7-7. Whistle and a foul.
Here's a good defensive possession. Turkoglu moves his feet, gets a little bit of help. Courtney Lee takes him off the line. Willie Green puts it in Thaddeus Young. Rashard Lewis with a good closeout. Again, they need to recognize the clock. Willie Green could have taken that jump shot, but that's excellent defense by the Orlando Magic.
Foul on Austin, his third. Iguodala at the free throw line has 8 points on 3 of 7 shooting. And Tony DeLeo is so impressed with Andre Iguodala. Said he is the voice of the team. He is it. He has emerged as the leader. Just 25 years of age in his 5th year out of Arizona.
Well, this summer with the USA Select Team, the last 2 summers he played against the Olympians, and he was one of the few young guys who didn't back down at all. Went after Kobe, went after LeBron. Andre Iguodala belongs with the senior team, and he really believes that.
Here he is, crossover, cut off by Lewis. Thaddeus Young drills it. Thaddeus Young with a dozen points now.
Thaddeus Young just kind of got better and better last year his rookie season. He just came back. He's not a sophomore. He's a solid player right now. Done a great job for the Sixers.
Lewis swings it quickly. Austin with the shot clock at 6. Trying to use the shield and screen of Howard. Lewis, quick trigger, shot no, and Dalembert comes down with a key rebound.
Good job drawing the help. That was a good look. Just didn't go.
Miller backing down in the post on Austin. Spins away from the double and delivers.
Andre Miller very composed. He was looking at Dwight Howard, just waiting to see if he was going to come. When he didn't come, he turned baseline.
Philadelphia responding on a 6-0 run. Dalembert, one and done for Orlando as he sends it to Iguodala. Miller with the post up again. The drive in traffic to Young, kicked out. Miller the leaner, pops in and out. Austin sprinting ahead.
Got to get Dwight Howard the ball.
And looking down on the inside and a foul on Samuel Dalembert.
Thaddeus Young runs into a wall. The wall's named Dwight Howard. That forced the help, got the shot. Well, I'll tell you what, Dwight Howard does a lot of damage just standing there. People running into him. Occasionally he runs into them. Either way, it hurts.
265 pounds. Backing down now. And Green comes in strong with the double. And fouls out of Willie Green. And that is his second. Dalembert has 3. Ratliff has picked up 2. Trying to handle Dwight Howard. That was back in the first half. In this 5-point game. And Dwight Howard entering this game. The first 3 games excellent from the free throw line. But not the case here in game 4. Just 2 of 6. And the Magic are 5 of 10.
Well, you got to think back to that other great big man, and I don't like to use the word great, but Shaquille many years ago when he was a youngster playing in Orlando, the one thing missing from his game, and it really hasn't changed, is the free throw shooting. You got to think Dwight Howard's got a chance to improve his. It's going to be unfair then. They're going to have to make it illegal. If he starts making free throws, there's nothing you're going to be able to do. But how about that? 2 of the better young bigs to come into this league in probably 25 years, both in Orlando.
Led the league in rebounding as well as blocks. Second straight year of leading them in rebounding. Defensive player of the year. Gets to the free throw line almost 11 times a game during the regular season. Great find. Dalembert wide open underneath.
Yeah, we had the help. Dwight Howard came from the weak side. one step late with the V-back. Somebody's got to come in. You have to help the helper. Dwight Howard comes over to block a shot. Somebody else has to block out his man.
Iguodala has 7 assists now. Complete game. Austin left open for 3. Gets another one here in the third quarter, does Rafer Alston.
Orlando's spacing and offensive execution is much better this half. There's more open threes.
8-point advantage for the Magic. Magic now 5 of 13 from downtown. Shot clock down to 6. Miller over Austin. No, Thaddeus Young unable to get the putback to go. Very active in the first half.
Somebody better put a body on Thaddeus Young.
Turkoglu still can't find it. Young up fake. Lewis leaves his feet. Dalembert saves it. And he steps along the end line, does Miller, on the pass from Dalembert.
Kind of a tough offensive possession. Philadelphia just a little bit out of sorts. Thaddeus Young got Rashard Lewis to leave his feet, but then he kind of got caught in between and made a careless pass to Samuel Dalembert.
And now an inadvertent whistle on Tony Brothers saying,
"Oops, my bad, he didn't step out of bounds. Let's give the ball back to the Sixers."
Iguodala sends it to Young. It's a 3, and it's good.
Good recognition by Iguodala. Unlike Thaddeus Young on the previous play, he stayed composed and found the open man.
Lewis loses the handle. Green ahead to Iguodala on the run. No. Wave it off. Foul. Offensive foul. Samuel Dalembert just picked up his 4th.
Philadelphia got just what they wanted, the turnover and the numbers, but Iguodala not able to finish. Samuel Dalembert comes over the top. Pretty good contest. I didn't see it. It must have been earlier. He must have pushed off when it was up by the foul line, because late there was no contact.
So Dalembert his 4th. Theo Ratliff checks in. Austin with Petrus, Howard, Lewis, and Lee on the floor for Stan Van Gundy. Courtney Lee. And it's going to be Philadelphia basketball.
That's a set. They look for Courtney Lee coming off the double screen. If the jump shot's not there, he and Dwight Howard execute the pick and roll. Good look. Just couldn't finish.
Low scoring. Tight game here in game 4 from the Wachovia Center. Iguodala cut off by Howard. Trying to create. Shot no. And Howard comes down with it.
The young man mountain.
Austin, stutter step on the drive, floater. Green running to the hole, and a blocking foul, unable to finish. But in the act, he'll go to the line, and a foul on Petrus. Van Gundy's team right now up by 5 with 2:35 to go in the third. And Green at the free throw line.
Well, as Tony DeLeo told us before the game, though, Matt, this is a different Sixer team than the one that was confronted by Game 4 last year, the 2-1 lead. They didn't get it done with that 2-1 lead playing at home. He thinks they're good enough to get it done this season.
From a point standpoint, Andre Iguodala alone is plus 10 from a year ago.
Well, he and Andre Miller, the way they're playing, Thaddeus Young is a different player. They're just a more confident team. And as you said, they seem to be comfortable with this matchup.
58-53. I didn't say it. They said it.
You're right.
I repeated it.
I really thought it was player speak. When you looked at the numbers, it looked like Orlando held most of the cards.
Courtney Lee driving to the hole. And Theo Ratliff from behind with the block.
I'm not sure that wasn't goaltending, but it was an excellent defensive play. Better defensive play right there. Michael Petrus. Michael Petrus is very good drawing offensive fouls. Here's the play. Courtney Lee goes in strong. Nope, Theo brought it to the board. Good play. Once it's touched the backboard, you can't touch it, but you can block it against the board. That's what Theo Ratliff did. Excellent no call by the officials.
Michael Petras, big offseason acquisition for Orlando. Come off of the bench. He did start 25 games, played in 54. Anthony Johnson, the three-pointer, doesn't go. Iguodala sends it ahead to Willie Green. Petras battling a torn ligament in his right thumb and a fractured right wrist. In the regular season, trying to provide that energy off of the bench in which they need. They haven't gotten it. The one game that they outscored Philadelphia, bench productivity, it was 18-12. That was game 2. They're +6, but in the series, they are down big, 75-41. Rashard Lewis, Jay.
Tougher man to shoot over. Thaddeus Young got Rashard off the three-point line, but Rashard was able to make the shot over a much bigger defender than Willie Green, who was playing them earlier.
7-point game. Orlando led by as many as 11 here in the third. Miller backing down on Anthony Johnson. Fires over Johnson. Andre Miller.
Andre Miller has the capacity to become more offensive-minded. He'll go stretches where he's not looking to score at all, involves the other players, but he's got the ability to score when he thinks his team needs it.
Averaging 23 in the series and nearly 8 rebounds out of that point guard spot. Shot clock down to 4. Lewis, and he is fouled as Rashard Lewis was posting up on Andre Miller.
This is just good offense right here. Andre's down. Anthony Johnson's a pretty strong player. Miller just steps back and knocks down the shot. Talked about a 2-for-1 situation. I like Orlando's offensive execution this quarter. They've done a really good job spacing the floor, and the percentages and points reflect it.
Second foul on Andre Miller this July. Executive producer Jerry Bruckheimer takes you into television's most dangerous new world as an undercover cop in L.A. How far can you go without going over? Well, this is a new series with Dark Blue this July only on TNT. Lewis has 11 of his 14 here in the third quarter. And Orlando leads by 7. 10-second differential, game clock, shot clock. Miller making a move. Tough angle. Rims out. Courtney Lee corrals it. Courtney Lee on the drive. Courtney Lee, the rookie, delivers. Iguodala. Third quarter comes to an end. The three ball started to go.
Standing three-pointers, that's the key words right there, Matt. Their feet were set. They were comfortable. That's why they shot 4 for 7 from the three-point line that quarter. More importantly, overall, 10 for 18, 57%. Philadelphia 76ers are struggling another quarter under 40%. I think that's Orlando's best quarter combined of the series so far, offensively and defensively. The Sixers showed a little stretch. Tony DeLeo talked about that, where they got their running game going. They need to get right back in the game in this first 3 minutes.
Orlando coming in, shooting just 32% from beyond the arc in this series. And talking to Tony DeLeo, he's a major concern right there because you expect them to break out of it. They did in that third quarter.
They did because they executed on offense. Good ball movement, good spacing.
And a whistle and a foul. Game 4, the fourth quarter underway here at the Wachovia Center in Philadelphia as Orlando looks to even the series at 2 games apiece. Philadelphia in this situation a year ago in the first round against Detroit, and they let that one slip away. Trying to hold off Orlando, and they trail here 64-55. Iguodala up top. Sends it to Thaddeus Young. He'll trigger the 3. Shot doesn't go. And Ratliff has it knocked away, and all of a sudden Philadelphia relying on that three-pointer. A team that just was not that effective during the regular season from beyond the arc.
No, but what they are doing, which is important, is extra possessions. It's 2 offensive rebounds this possession already, 9 for the game. Orlando's still looking for their first one. The other bad thing, this is bad right here. 9-zip offensive rebounds, but more importantly, we've got 2-zip in personal fouls already out of the shoot. Orlando's going to dig himself a hole.
Peters picked up his third. Miller in the lane. Howard wins the battle with Ratliff and then taken down by Philadelphia. Lou Williams. Hasn't been much bench scoring here in this one. Williams has 5 of the 7 for Philadelphia.
Terrible defensive possession for Orlando. They allowed 3 offensive rebounds.
Plus 17 in attempts. And a foul. As Howard made his move in the lane with 6 ticks remaining to the shot clock. And a foul on Theo Ratliff.
White back on the line. We'll see if he can convert. Orlando is going to have to clean up their defensive rebounding.
Orlando number 1 in the NBA in defensive rebounds during the regular season, and Howard to the free throw line, as you see there, just 4 of 8 from the free throw line. Has a double-double. Dwight Howard in 18 career playoff games, including this one, has 15 double-doubles. And the first one doesn't go.
Well, you've got 2 strengths in play on that other end of the floor. Philadelphia, number 2 in the league in offensive rebounding. Orlando, number 2 in the league in defensive rebounding. No comparison so far. Who's doing a better job? It's the 76ers.
Game 2 of our doubleheader from Houston. Portland Trail Blazers against the Houston Rockets. Game 4. And Howard gets a second. 8-point advantage. Williams along with Young, Ratliff. Iguodala and Miller on the floor for Tony DeLeo. Williams driving, and Howard knocks it away. Anthony Johnson quickly ahead. Peters gives it up. Turkoglu flips it up and through. 10-point advantage now.
Stan Van Gundy's going to have to give Charles Barkley a little piece of the action here for his recommendations at halftime.
2 minutes into this fourth quarter. Getting that early offense rolling now. And Anthony Johnson on a reach-in. That's his first.
Team third with 9:57 still to go. Stan Van Gundy knows what that means.
Iguodala. Kick out once again on the wing. Thaddeus Young trying to shake Turkoglu. Will fire over. Courtney Lee comes away with it.
Solid defensive possession again for Orlando. They're keeping Sixers on the perimeter. Great help when they dribble penetrate.
Miller jamming Turkoglu. Getting some separation. The shot doesn't go. 6-9 now is Turkoglu. Miller on the run out. Andre Miller. 11 points.
That was not good offense. Hedo Turkoglu, not a terrible shot, but again, they're getting everything going by moving the ball. The ball never left his hands that entire possession. It generated a fast break opportunity for Philadelphia.
Trapping Turkoglu hard on that pick and roll. A swing at the other side. Peters, no. Miller drives. Andre Miller is fouled. And a double-double performance once again for Howard.
It's strange, and you made the point. In the regular season, Orlando beats Philadelphia 3 times. All 3 times they played. Dwight averaged less than 16 points a game. The strategy for Philadelphia is obvious. Dwight's going to get what he can. We got to shut down everybody else. To this point, it's worked. You certainly don't want to see Dwight get 30-plus points, but you need the balance. And so far, prior to this half, Orlando hasn't had the balance.
Send it over to Laura Green. Laura?
And Mike, Nat, and PJ, I talked to Thaddeus Young about hitting that game-winning shot. He said he got 40 text messages, 20 emails after that shot. He said the best ones came from his former Georgia Tech teammates, Anthony Morrow, who plays for the Warriors, and Jeremy Smith, who just wrote, "Let's go." He said that's something we used to say in college. I haven't heard it since then. As for his teammates, he said the best message was, "Thank you."
He hasn't heard "Let's go" since college? Huh? I mean, you've used that a few times. Let's go. And a blocking foul.
Well, that's the double team, the aggressive double team. When Hedo Turkoglu is involved in a pick and roll, the Sixers' strategy is to jump out and double him. Theo Ratliff was not quite set. Sean Corbin with the block call. Well, Theo's had a tough day. Dwight Howard's knocking him down. Now he's got Hedo Turkoglu knocking him down also.
Ratliff, that's his fourth. Young on Turkoglu. Shot clock at 7. Screen set by Howard. Lewis will crank up the three. Shot doesn't fall. And Ratliff comes down with it. 14th year in the NBA out of Wyoming. Miller driving. Denied by Howard. Six-point game.
Dwight Howard looking for a pick and roll with Courtney Lee.
Lee sends it to Lewis. Lewis on the drive. Howard cleaning up. First offensive rebound of the game.
Pretty good time because Orlando was struggling a little bit. Philadelphia's picked up their defense. Rashard Lewis breaks the defense down with his penetration. Dwight Howard cleans up.
Magic don't get an offensive rebound to that moment here in the fourth. Underneath, Theo Ratliff regains himself and blown coverage and lays it up and in.
Yeah, it is. You got two guys talking about whose fault it was. Instead of talking about it, both of you go get it. Don't be pointing fingers. Step in and play.
Game 4, fourth quarter. Magic need to win to even the season, the series, postseason series.
Dwight Howard, a dominant player. Doesn't matter which end of the floor. Andre Miller with a great drive. Dwight Howard erases it. Down here, Rashard with the drive. Dwight with the emphatic finish over the top. He's back on the free throw line again as he continues to attack Theo Ratliff inside.
Yeah, Ratliff just picked up his 5th, PJ. And Howard, 5 of 10 from the free throw line. First is good. Brown is back in the hottest new comedy of the year. Get the family together for the new season premiere of Tyler Perry's Meet the Browns, May 27th at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, only on TBS.
Very fun.
Yeah, very fun. 70-63. Orlando with the advantage. With 7:12 remaining in the fourth quarter. Howard 6 of 11 from the free throw line. Now 6 of 12. Dallenberg with a rebound, gives it to Williams along with Donyell Marshall. Iguodala and Miller. Williams, bad pass. Lewis picks it off, finishes, plus the foul.
Well, that play started again with Dwight Howard. Lewis Williams penetrated, had nothing to do, so he turns around and he doesn't see Rashard Lewis sitting on the pass. To his credit, Lewis hustles back, but then he fouls, gives him the three-point opportunity in transition. Again, Philly on the ropes. They need to dig in.
Yeah, that was a huge swing right there. And Rashard Lewis coming up here in Game 4 has 17 points and 6 rebounds, 6 of 12 shooting. Entering this game over the last 3, Rashard Lewis shooting just 36% in this series.
All Stan wanted was a little more from Turkoglu and Lewis.
Dallin pass.
A nice pass from Andre Iguodala. That's probably the least appreciated facet of his game. He's a very good passer, particularly on his own dribble penetration.
Stan Van Gundy before the game as Lewis drives, shot no, Howard tapped up. Said, listen, we don't need 25 each out of Turkoglu and Lewis. He said it'd be nice, but they do have to get going.
And Van Gundy's looking for an offensive foul. Andre Iguodala, here's his penetration. He sees the open man. Great feed over the top. Samuel Dallenberg with the finish over the much smaller Courtney Lee.
Knocked out of bounds, Philadelphia basketball. 6:17 remaining here in this fourth quarter. Orlando leads by 8. Williams, crossover, drives on Lee, and a foul on Courtney Lee.
Tough cover for Courtney Lee. He's a very good defender, especially for a rookie, but he's got to move his feet, not reach in. His position wasn't that bad on Lewis Williams, but he chops down. That's an easy call for the official.
Lee, his third. Lou Williams goes to the free throw line, and the first is good. He has been there. Bench productivity here in this game 4 has 6 of the 10 off of the bench for Philadelphia.
Sixers won't go away, and they're looking at free throw bonus for the rest of the quarter. Orlando's going to need to execute and play defense without fouling.
Williams with 7 points, had 18 in game 1. In the last 2 games, he combined 12 points. Rafer Alston, Jay. How about a Rafer Alston over Andre Miller?
Good read by Rafer. He wanted to throw the ball to Dwight Howard, but when the defense didn't show, he took what they gave him, the open jump shot.
Back to 8. Iguodala sends it in the corner. Miller. Dwight Howard clears it. Quick look to Howard underneath from Alston. Double comes with Williams. Now he backs off. Shot clock down to 5 for Courtney Lee on the drive. And a timeout, Tony DeLeo.
Winning's hard, but you do it with defense. That's why Stan, he didn't look happy, but he's happy. They've held him to 36% from the field, and they've shut down the big two, the two Andres. Andre Iguodala's 3 for 10 from the field, and he started 3 for 5. He's missed his last 5. Andre Miller, 5 for 16. The Magic are 50% for the game from the field. Philadelphia 76ers only 36%. Winning's hard because you got to defend. The Magic are defending to this point.
And the first 3 games, Philadelphia is shooting 50%. Andre Iguodala, Andre Miller combined for 46. Lou Williams here in the fourth quarter. Lou makes it an 8-point game. Under 5 minutes to go. Has 6 of his 9 here in the fourth. Turkoglu with 2 points in the second half. Alston in the corner. Courtney Lee, shot clock down, uses the window, and the rookie comes up big again. 15 points now for Courtney Lee.
Well, we got to reevaluate. We talked about the big 3 for Orlando. It's the big 4, and you got to insert Courtney Lee in the number 2 slot behind Dwight Howard.
Dallenberg on a handoff to Iguodala, and Iguodala is fouled. Iguodala and the Axe going to head to the free throw line. Over the last 27 minutes, Iguodala with just 2 points, although he does have 10 assists in this game.
Do other
Fouls
things.
on Howard.
Do other things when your shot's not going. There's a lid on the basket. Get to the rim. Convert the free throws.
Talked about his jump from last year to this year. He's been spectacular, but they are going after him here. But as you mentioned, doing some other things. He now has a double-double, 10 points, 10 assists. He's just 3 of 10, though, from the field, and 4 of 6 from the line. 9-point game.
Philadelphia's not a good free throw shooting team. They're going to have to be to take advantage of this foul situation in the final 4 minutes.
They're just 9 of 13, only 13 attempts here in this game 4. Shot clock down to 4. Courtney Lee once again forces up a shot. Good job by D'Alembert. Iguodala running the floor in the corner. Here's Lou Williams. Lou Williams, it's a 2. Count it. 8 points here in the 4th.
Big possession for Orlando. You would think it's going down to number 12.
Austin working with Howard. Gives it to Lewis. Lewis, 14 of his 17 here in the second half. Howard backing down. Shot clock at 3. The 3 for Austin, no. Tapped out. Lou Williams running again. Williams crossover. Kicked out. Iguodala the 3. Got it. Andre Iguodala. 4-point game. Here comes Philly.
They tried to go to Dwight Howard last time, but he was off the box. They did a good job moving him out.
Orlando ball, 9 seconds remaining on the shot clock. A 6-0 run by Philadelphia. Timeout, 2:46 to go. .246 to go in the 4th quarter in the 4th game of the first round between the 3rd seed Orlando and the 6th seed Philadelphia.
9 seconds on the shot clock here coming out. You know the coaches are reminding them, but you'd be surprised in the league how many times people lose track of the time. Orlando badly in need of a basket right now and only 9 seconds to get it done. Dwight Howard to match up underneath against Samuel D'Alembert. Hedo Turkoglu is going to put it in play.
9 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Lewis over Young. Short. Philly on the run. 19 fast break points on the night.
And you called it Philly on the run. That's 3 straight possessions. They ran right down Orlando's throat.
2-point game. Turkoglu delivers in traffic, plus the foul. Big moment for Hedo Turkoglu, who's had a tough series, but 7 of 10 here tonight.
Turns the corner on Samuel D'Alembert, avoids the help, and finishes with a chance. 76ers have their fast break game in gear. Andre Miller that time coast to coast. Stan Van Gundy's not going to be happy with that. That was much easier than the prior two.
D'Alembert committed his 5th. Gets a rebound there after a miss. 2-possession game. Skip pass to Iguodala. On the weak side, Lewis comes down with a rebound.
Two teams who don't shoot free throws very well, Matt. Orlando number 30 in the NBA. Philadelphia only 25.
Courtney Lee. Too strong. Transition opportunity again. Miller gets fouled.
Rafer Alston's pleading his case. He's saying he didn't do anything. Stan Van Gundy says the same thing. It doesn't matter what they say. Sean Corbin said it's a foul. Again, back to the free throw line. Andre Miller, very, very good free thrower. In the last 3 minutes, though, a little bit different. 82%. in the last 3 minutes.
Foul on Rafer Alston, his fourth. As the 2009 NBA playoffs continue, you'll be able to see all the action on TNT and beyond. Here's what you'll see in the coming days on NBA TV, ESPN, and ABC. Miller, 3 of 3 tonight from the line, has 15 points.
This is where we talk about Dwight Howard all the time. He's your horse. You want to go to him. The challenge is, will he be able to deliver made free throws in end-game situations?
6 of 12 from the line. Here in this game is Dwight Howard. Miller, 8 of his 17 here in the fourth quarter. 2-point game. Deep post position for Howard, knocked away. Lewis sends it up top, 3 on the clock. Miller gets the block. Howard tosses it up, and it's not there. Under a minute to go. Miller tried to get the foul, doesn't get it.
Not what Philly needed right there.
Rashard Lewis pops out. D'Alembert with a rebound. Timeout. Tony DeLeo and his Philadelphia 76ers. 81-79 Orlando.
I got to think it's Andre Iguodala. That's the go-to guy. If play doesn't develop, and that's what happened the other night. Thaddeus Young got the ball as the third option, and he made it pay off. I think right now it's going to be Andre Iguodala, perhaps in isolation at the top of the key, just the way they did in Game 1. And again, he's good enough to manufacture his own shot. We talked about his passing. He's already got double-digit assists. That should be the man.
Orlando led by 10 at the 4:29 mark of the fourth quarter, 79-69. Since then, the Sixers on a 10-2 run. Iguodala, Young, Miller, D'Alembert, and Williams. For Orlando, Turkoglu, Lewis, Lee, Dwight Howard, and Rafer Alston. The feed on the inside to D'Alembert. With all the attention on Iguodala. Tied at 81. Alrighty, EJ. Louis Scola with 19 points in that game 3, and Battier had 16. We look forward to the second game of our doubleheader, but right now tied at 81.
Bonus in effect for both teams. The dilemma we talked about. You go inside to Dwight Howard, you risk the foul, then he's going to have to make a free throw. But in a tie situation, a lot more likely that they go. Both teams with 2:20-second timeouts remaining. Tie, I think an easier decision for Stan Van Gundy. You got to go inside, run a little time off the clock, put it down in Dwight Howard's hands, about 6 or 5 seconds. They choose to foul now. It's a tie score.
First tie since it was 41-41 early in the third quarter. 14.8 of a second to go in game 4. Orlando ball. Tied at 81. Turkoglu and Lewis. 5 now down to Fuller. Turkoglu got it. Hedo Turkoglu delivers. Orlando by 3, 9/10 remaining. Hedo Turkoglu delivers the 3.
Isolation at the end. It started out as a pick and roll. No question what Orlando wanted to do. They ran a pick and roll with Turkoglu and Rashard Lewis on top. It was going to be the wing players winning or losing the game. They chose not to go underneath to Dwight Howard. Philadelphia switched the pick and roll, one-on-one defense. They've been calling him Mr. Fourth Quarter all year in Orlando. He hasn't been Mr. Fourth Quarter in this series until tonight.
Hedo Turkoglu with his first three of the night has 17 in for the Orlando Magic. The time's going to be added. It's going to be 1.1 remaining in this fourth quarter as they look to tie this series up at 2 games apiece and reclaim home court advantage.
Well, just like the game we watched this afternoon, Boston and Chicago, no one chose to foul. This is the easy situation if you're going to foul. There's not enough time on the clock that you worry about what's going to happen in a free throw situation. If Orlando wants to do it, it's the perfect time. As soon as the ball leaves his hand, take the foul. Don't take a chance. How many three-point shots did we see go down this afternoon already in the other games?
Donyell Marshall now on the floor with Iguodala. And a timeout.
That's the last one for Philadelphia. They're going to have to come out now. No fulls, no 20s. Again, tough decision. Very few coaches in the NBA like to foul in this situation. In international basketball, it's a given. They foul all the time. They're not going to let somebody tie you or beat you with a three-point shot.
Coming up immediately following our game, Portland and Houston. From Houston, Game 4. And the Rockets lead that series 2-1. Philadelphia with the ball at 1.1 tenths of a second remaining here in Game 4. Orlando by 3. What did you like to do? Would you foul?
I would foul. I've done it both ways and lost both ways doing it. One night we fouled Kobe Bryant, not let him shoot a 3. He makes the first free. We fouled Glenn Rice. He makes the first free throw, and Kobe comes swooping in over the top. I think in this situation, you have to foul.
Miller, Young, Marshall, Iguodala, and Lou Williams. Andre Iguodala, no! Orlando ties the series at 2 games apiece. 84-81. Hedo Turkoglu comes through with the 3.